Welcome to Land of the Bible. I'm your host, David Sussman, and today we head to one of the most beautiful and important places in biblical and modern times, the Sea of Galilee, known here in Israel as the Kinneret. Today, we are traveling to the northeastern part of Israel, where the hills of the Galilee slope down to meet a calm and storied body of water, the Kinneret, also known around the world as the Sea of Galilee. The Kinneret is the largest freshwater lake in Israel and one of the most iconic landscapes in the country. But the Kinneret is far more than a water source. It's a sacred mirror, reflecting centuries of biblical history. In the Hebrew Bible, the region is linked with the tribes of Naphtali and Zvulun, and later became a part of the northern kingdom of Israel. For Christians, the Sea of Galilee is extremely significant, as it is the location of many of the key events told in the Christian scriptures. It is here that many believe Jesus walked on water, calmed the storm, and fed the multitudes. Yet, the Kinneret is not frozen in time. It has played a critical role in shaping the modern state of Israel. The kibbutzim and farming villages around the lake were among the earliest Zionist communities. The region became a symbol of pioneering spirit, where Jewish people returning to the land of Israel drained the swamps, cultivated the land, and created new models for collective living. Then there is Tiberias, located on its western shores, which became one of Judaism's 4 holy cities. It was a center of Torah scholarship after the destruction of the Second Temple and home to the final editing of the Mishnah and the Jerusalem Talmud. Today, it's a vibrant mix of religious tradition, tourism, and Israeli culture. In this episode, we'll journey along the shores of the Kinneret, visit sacred sites, and discover how this small lake has shaped faith, history, and national identity. So join us as we explore the living waters of the Kinneret, the Sea of Miracles.
We are right now sailing on a boat on the waters of the Sea of Galilee, known here in Israel as the Kinneret, which is a name that is based on its shape, which looks like a harp. And a harp in Israel, in Hebrew, is known as a kinnor. Kinnor, Kinneret. And we are now overlooking the capital city of this region, the holy city of Tiberias. Now, the waters that we are floating on right now are situated 200 meters below sea level, making it the lowest fresh body of water in the entire world and Israel's largest source of fresh water. Now, this body of water holds tremendous amount of historical and biblical significance, both to Jews and Christians alike, dating all the way back to the period of Joshua and the prophets and the words of God, who said that this land was going to be given to the descendants of Abraham, the Jewish people, forever. Magdala, one of the important Jewish cities here during the Second Temple period, the one that tried to bravely fight against the Romans, who were coming from the east, from the hills of the Golan Heights. Then slightly north of Migdal is another Jewish fishing village from the Second Temple period known as Capernaum. And Capernaum is well known in Christianity as being the hometown of none other than one of Jesus' main disciples, Peter. And Peter also hosted Jesus. Jesus stayed in Peter's house. And it's believed by Christians who was here in Capernaum that he performed many miracles, including healing a paralyzed man. But this place is also archaeologically significant as it has an ancient synagogue that from Christian scriptures we understand Jesus actually preached. But there's also a modern church there that's built above ground, and below it you can look down at one of the first churches found here in the land of Israel. You have the area of Tagba, and Tagba is where in Christian scriptures it is believed that Jesus fed the multitudes, that there wasn't enough food for everyone. They only had a few loaves of bread and a few fish. And Jesus told his disciples, don't worry, God will provide, just keep on breaking off pieces. And that's what they did. And they kept on breaking off more and more bread and more fish, and it never ended until everyone was fed. And then right up the slopes from Tagba, you have the Mount of Beatitudes, where in Christian scriptures, it talks about the Sermon on the Mount, maybe the most well-known sermon amongst Christians, where Jesus gave his 8 benedictions. And later, a church was built in the shape of an octagon, one side for each benediction. So far, we've talked about sites located on the western shores of the Sea of Galilee. Well, the eastern part of the Sea of Galilee, the Golan Heights, was filled with pagans, not Jews, not monotheists. So on those shores was a very well-known city by the name of Kursi. And in Kursi, there was a man who became possessed, not with one demon, but with a legion of demons. He was ostracized. He was speaking in madness. And so Jesus comes and he takes that legion of demons and he throws them into 2,000 swine, pigs, and he chased them down into the Sea of Galilee. And for Christians, this was a powerful message that no matter how far removed you might be from God, from understanding the knowledge that there is only one true God, God still heals those. So many amazing, powerful stories here on the Sea of Galilee, and I'm so excited to take you to some of them. Let's now head out and explore on location some of the great sights here of the Sea of Galilee.
Imagine walking where Jesus walked, where faith comes to life. Feel the Bible story unfold around you, from the green Galilee to Jerusalem's ancient streets. Experience the serene and welcoming land of the Bible, where miracles happen. Put your heart where His footsteps are. Visit Israel.
Located roughly 15 minutes above the shores of the Sea of Galilee, at the end of the Lower Galilee, and at the top of the cliffs that look out onto one of the most magnificent views in all of Israel, is the Arbel Nature Reserve. This place, beyond the scope of the view that you can see from up here, the entire Sea of Galilee, all of the historical sites that we've mentioned, and so much more. You also have one of the important sites of King Herod. Now, King Herod is oftentimes referred to as Herod the Great, but really he was Herod the Horrible. He was a nasty, nasty person. But his lay to claim begins right here on those cliffs that you can see over there, because you see those cliffs served the rebels who are trying to fight The tyranny of the Roman Empire used to hide in cliffs over there, and they would fire upon the Romans down at the bottom. By the time the Romans could turn around in order to launch some bow and arrows back at them, they would have ran into their caves. The Romans didn't know what to do, so they called upon Herod, who was a governor at the time in this area. And Herod comes here, and what he does is he builds these huge crates, and he puts soldiers, and rather than go up the mountain, he goes down the mountain. He literally lowers them down. He builds a crane and lowers them down so that when they got to the level of the caves, they could take their bow and arrows that would have been wrapped in some type of fabric, dipped in oil and light on fire, and to quote George W. Bush, smoke those terrorists out. And they would launch the bow and arrows, start the fires, the rebels would come out, and of course, once out of the caves, they would be easily killed by the Roman soldiers that were awaiting them. So come with me now as we hike all the way to the peak of the Arbel cliffs and enjoy some of those magnificent views. There are a few different hiking routes here at the Arbel Nature Reserve. The short one, which we're doing right now, goes from the parking lot right up to the peak and takes anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes to hike up to the top. And then they have another one that's a little bit more to the northwestern side of the nature reserve that comes down the sheer cliff, and it requires the use of some ladders that are built into the cliffs and some ropes along the way so that you don't fall down. The longer route, though, actually goes from the east southern side, overlooking the city of Tiberias, the Sea of Galilee, and as you're going down and around the cliffs, you could see the fortifications that the rebels built 2,000 plus years ago, and also every empire that ever ruled this area, from the Romans, Christians, Muslims, all built fortresses here in the nature reserve, and you can see the remnants of those fortresses that they built. But when you're visiting Israel, it doesn't matter what time of the year you come, you gotta come here and visit because it offers a view of the entire area. It's unbeatable. So that was a quick 5-10 minute hike, but you can see I'm already sweating here. It's definitely not easy, but worth every step. You can see the magnificent view, the Sea of Galilee, the towns. You can see the Upper Galilee, the holy city of Sfat. You can see the beautiful shorelines, Capernaum, Tagba, Mount of Beatitudes, all can be seen from right here on the top of the Arbel. You know, I can't think of a better place to come to enjoy some quiet solitude, a moment of prayer, personal reflection, than right here at the Arbel Nature Reserve. Rising up on the hills of the Galilee, just above the city of Capernaum, is the national park of Korazim. The ruins you see all around me date back already to the Hashmonean period, during the Second Temple period. That's the story of Hanukkah. And it remained a thriving Jewish community all the way into the 8th century, when earthquakes finally got the best of it. This community was strong, resilient, steadfast to their religious views, and they remained dedicated in their practice throughout all of these centuries. Let's now go see some of the structures here, find out how they made their money, see the beautiful synagogue that's located here in Korazim. As we approach this ancient synagogue here, probably from the Byzantine period, 1500 years ago, maybe even older, maybe parts of it really date back to that Second Temple period when this was developed during the Hashmonean period, the story of Hanukkah. But basalt's a very hard stone, and look how intricate, how detailed, how fine the lintels, the pillars on the outside, right? They carved into the stone, these beautiful pillars, the bases up on top, those beautiful Ionic pillars that they had in Jerusalem from the first temple period as a throwback, as to honor King David and his palace, which stood in Jerusalem, which we've located today in the city of David. So here we are in the synagogue, the heart of the town here in Korazim. Now this particular synagogue was probably built in the early 4th century, the early period of the Byzantine Empire. And one of the ways we know is it's built in a way that almost mirrors the way the Byzantine period churches would have looked, with a central nave where the bema, where the place where they would have read the Torah would have been, but also in a very Jewish fashion, you have benches all around as the community would come together, not only in prayer, not only in Torah study, but also to make those important decisions within the community. And this synagogue spared no expense. You can see the intricate details and the pillars, of course, made out of basalt. This is a fantastic ruin of a synagogue that would have existed during this time period. Definitely want to come here to Korazim, even if it's just for this. Korazim, it was definitely a place of significant wealth. And we know that by seeing all the beautiful arches, the windows that are here, and the fact that it was all made from basalt. Now granted, basalt was the stone that is abundant over here. It's volcanic rock, but it's extremely difficult to work with. As we exit this home, we can see how they locked their doors. You can see where a wooden slab would be placed so nobody could open the door. Well, as you come out here in the bright sun, now granted this building would have had a beautiful roof, we find a ritual bath made out of this basalt stone. Extremely difficult. You can see the little bit of the water system here where water would flow to the ritual bath. And, oh wow, this is absolutely pristine. You can actually see the stairs that went down and where Jews completely immerse themselves in this water, not to physically clean themselves, but to spiritually purify themselves. This is awesome to see a mikveh from 2,000 years ago, just like the mikvahs we have today. Whew. So down here in the mikveh, we can still see some of the original plaster that dated back thousands of years ago, because basalt, this volcanic rock, very porous, all the water would have disappeared almost immediately in a day or two. Above us, we can see the big slats of stone that they used to cover it to prevent the evaporation. And this would have been used most likely by the community. That was an impressive building there. So many arches that held up the roof. Again, just the magnitude of the amount of wealth that this place generated. And it was a town that was situated here along the cliffs of this hill in the Galilee that didn't require walls to protect itself. And as you look out here towards the south in the direction of Jerusalem, you can see the Sea of Galilee, but you can also see how amazingly well wheat would have grown here. And it was really the wheat production which generated the amount of wealth that this community had over here. So we're coming into the area, what's known in Hebrew as a Beit Bad. This is the olive press, and there was 3 different stages to it. First, you had to crush the olives. They would have brought the freshly picked olives grown in this area, brought it in here in this basalt, turning this wheel, crushing those olives and the pits and everything. And this would be the first pressing. The olive oil that came from here would have been the most expensive. Here, you would have had a system of weights and a crusher to take that sludge that was left, to crush it down, to get another, another pressing of that olive oil would have been stored in the vat down here below. A little less quality, but still pretty good olive oil. However, for Christians, not all was good here in Korazim. When they read their scriptures, they see Jesus admonishing the people here, telling them that they are living lives filled with ritual, with religion, but without spirit. There was no spirituality there, that their rituals weren't infused with God's energy, with His glory. And therefore, by forsaking that spirituality, the place would be destroyed. And so when Christians come here and they reflect upon the ruins here of this mighty Jewish city, oftentimes they reflect, where in my life can I improve on? Where in my life can I become more faithful and better?
I will bless those who bless you, God promised Abraham. Embrace this covenant by connecting with the people of Israel. From Jerusalem's stones to Galilee's shores, experience living faith through their traditions and hospitality. Your journey is more than visiting biblical sites. It's about hearts that welcome your friendship. Your presence matters. Discover Israel.
Before we conclude our episode here today along the Sea of Galilee, it's important that we take a stop here in the city of Tiberias, the capital of this area and the largest city along the shores of the Sea of Galilee. Today, in modern times, Tiberias is a flourishing city and is considered one of the 4 holy cities of Israel, along with Jerusalem, of course, Hebron, where the tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs is located, and the city of Sfat, the city of mysticism and Jewish Kabbalah. However, Tiberias was built over 2,000 years ago in the year 20 CE by Herod Antipas, the son of King Herod, who named it Tiberias after the Roman Emperor Tiberias. And wow, did he build a beautiful Roman city. I'm walking through the southern gate right now, which had along it a beautiful colonnade with massive pillars. But not only that, they had to think about water issues here. You can see behind me sloping up these big hills, the beginning of the lower Galilee. And all of that rainwater would become crashing down these hills. And right over here, we actually have a vaulted bridge, and underneath that, a channel that took all of those flash floods out into the Sea of Galilee. However, with all of this beauty, with everything the Romans built here, theaters, bathhouses, everything that's known in the Roman Empire, Jews didn't want to live here because parts of the city was actually built on top of Jewish graves. However, when you fast forward a couple of centuries, a huge sage in Jewish mysticism, a rabbi known as Shimon Bar Yochai, came here and cleansed the area, and Jews began to flock to Tiberias. This coincides with the Romans forbidding Jews from being in the holy city of Jerusalem. We were forbidden to enter the city for almost 500 years. So a lot of those sages came here to the city of Tiberias, and it was here that Yehuda HaNasi moved his community of rabbis and where the Mishnah and the Jerusalem Talmud would be codified. Some of these great rabbis you're probably familiar with. Rebbe Akiva, one of the great rabbis in Judaism. The Rambam, who came many, many centuries later, are all buried here in the city of Tiberias. Yet very few people know that these ruins still exist here. It's a hidden gem here in the city of Tiberias, because most people, when they come here, they want to visit the old churches that were built here during the Byzantine and Crusader period, or they want to enjoy some of the modern amenities that's located here as well, with the beautiful 5-star hotels and these gorgeous restaurants that speckle the shores of the Sea of Galilee in order to have some St. Peter's fish or some other amazing food that's offered here. There's also, as we were on before, boats that sail out into the Sea of Galilee and tons of activities, and this has become a place not only for pilgrims, for families also to vacation here. So Tiberias is a place where the past crashes into the present and creating a vision for the future that is in front of us. The city of Tiberias, one of Israel's 4 holy cities.
On a rugged cliff in the Golan Heights lies the ruins of Gamla, an ancient Jewish city that stood firm against the Roman Empire. Gamla is a place of memory, courage, and unshakable identity.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to join us next time as we continue to connect you to the people, places, and land of the Bible.